The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the last 24 hours is 21,790 with 24 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 206 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's Wednesday, January 5th. LA County is experiencing staff shortages again in the healthcare industry. Hospital workers and other healthcare employees are among those getting infected with COVID-19 as cases rise dramatically throughout our region. About 100 frontline workers at Huntington Hospital in Pasadena are out right now with the coronavirus. A hospital spokesperson says as cases soar, wait times are getting longer, exceeding 5 hours at times at the emergency room. On Tuesday, they started putting elective surgeries on hold. Ambulance response times are also getting delayed as more workers call in sick with COVID-19. In fact, the LA County Public Health Department reports more than 1,000 LA area police officers, firefighters, and paramedics are sick or at home quarantining due to COVID-19. And since more patients overall are seeking care, ambulances are having to wait to offload patients at hospitals. Health officials say those experiencing mild COVID-19 symptoms should reach out to their doctors first and try to avoid clogging up already busy hospitals. Southern California has its first confirmed case of the Flurona. It's when a person has both the flu and the coronavirus at the same time. The case was detected at the Getty Center testing site in Brentwood. The infected individual is a minor who just returned from a vacation with family at Cabo San Lucas. The person was reportedly experiencing symptoms but was not hospitalized and went home after being tested with their parents. Both the flu and COVID-19 are respiratory diseases that can cause similar symptoms such as a cough, runny nose, and sore throat. Experts say that the biggest risk is to those who are unvaccinated or have underlying conditions. The World Health Organization calls Flurona a growing concern as Brazil, Israel, and multiple countries in Asia also confirm cases. The agency says 4.5% of COVID-positive patients in Asia also have the flu. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the best way to stay protected is to get vaccinated with both the COVID-19 and flu shots. People can get both vaccines during the same visit. And today, the Secretary of the California Health and Human Services, Dr. Mark Ghaly, announced extending indoor mask requirements statewide by 1 month to February 15th. As hospitalizations rise in LA County, public health officials are noticing something interesting. Many of them are not initially coming because of COVID-19, but learn they have it once admitted. State figures show there were 2,240 COVID-positive patients in LA County hospitals as of Tuesday. Of those patients, more than 300 were in intensive care. The hospitalization number is the highest it has been in almost a year. About 2/3 of the patients who tested positive for COVID-19 at hospitals run by the county's Department of Health Services were initially admitted for other illnesses. Health officials say this latest surge in COVID-19 hospitalizations is very different from what they saw in earlier surges, especially before vaccines and boosters became available. During last winter's surge, more than 80% of COVID-19 patients were in the hospital because they were experiencing severe illness from the virus. This year, they say the patients who come for other reasons and test positive for COVID-19 are mostly vaccinated. Regardless, the rising hospitalizations are still raising concerns for medical experts. They urge people to avoid coming to the hospital's emergency rooms unless they urgently need emergency care. LA County Supervisor Kathryn Barger has COVID-19. She shared the news on Tuesday, saying it feels like a cold, but each person's experience is different. She said it's time to walk the talk and is isolating herself, getting some rest, and keeping her loved ones at a distance. She encouraged residents to get vaccinated and stay home in order to flatten the curve. The supervisor often appeared on the county's COVID-19 news briefings throughout the pandemic. She serves the residents of the county's largest district, which includes 22 cities and 70 unincorporated communities. LA County will stop all criminal trials for 2 weeks starting today as coronavirus infections continue to surge. Presiding Judge Eric Taylor says trials will be paused until January 19th, allowing court officials to, quote, balance access to justice with local public safety needs. He adds that holiday gatherings have fueled widespread community transmission for the second consecutive winter. This news comes a day after a panel of judges ordered the suspension of all federal trials in LA, Riverside, and Orange counties. They did not say when the federal court system would return to normal operations. The CDC updated its guidance on the recommended COVID-19 isolation period this week. The agency now says people who have access to a COVID-19 test and want to take it should use a rapid test toward the end of their 5-day isolation period. The CDC has faced pressure from outside medical experts over the past week to include a testing component to its new guidance, shortening the isolation period of infected individuals from 10 to 5 days. The updated recommendations do not advise a test, but offer guidance on how those people should respond to a test result if they choose to take one. If the test is positive, they should continue isolating themselves until day 10. And if the test is negative, people can end their isolation period, but are advised to wear a mask around others until day 10. The CDC says people are most contagious 2 days prior to symptom onset and about 3 days afterwards. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said last week that up to 90% of transmission happens during that period. A growing number of Californians are getting phone alerts of possible COVID-19 exposure. The recent surge in coronavirus cases led to an increase in alerts being sent out by CA Notify, a voluntary smartphone tool that lets people know if they've been near someone who has tested positive for the virus. Thousands of Californians received a notification like this saying they may be infected too. The alert system has been in place for more than a year now, but many individuals are getting their first notification these days. The app spokesperson Dr. Chris Longhurst says the notifications tend to precede cases by 4 to 5 days. The state contracted with UC San Diego Health to develop CA Notify. Dr. Longhurst says average notifications went up from 2 to 3 last winter to 6 or 7 during the summer, up to 10 this fall, and now a lot more than that. The app uses Bluetooth technology to share anonymous codes with others who have CA Notify and are within 6 feet for at least 15 minutes. Android users need to download the app, and iPhone users can simply activate it. To learn more, go to canotify.ca.gov. A study of more than 46,000 pregnant women shows that getting vaccinated while expecting is not associated with a higher risk of preterm birth. The CDC published the analysis on Tuesday. Researchers examined data from women ages 16 to 49 who became pregnant in 2020 and gave birth in California, Colorado, Minnesota, Oregon, Washington, and Wisconsin. About 10,000 of these individuals got at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose between December 15, 2020 and July 22, 2021. The vast majority got Pfizer or Moderna, and about 4% received the Johnson & Johnson dose. The rate of preterm birth was 4.9 for every 100 live births, compared to 7 per 100 among unvaccinated women. And researchers found no significant association between the vaccine and higher risk when looking at small for gestational age at birth, which means having a birth weight below the 10th percentile for their gestational age. Researchers also looked at outcomes based on how many doses of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines the women had received and whether they'd gotten their first or only dose in the second or third trimester. They found no significant differences. The latest findings support CDC recommendations for pregnant people to get vaccinated due to an increased risk of severe illness tied to COVID-19 compared to those who are not pregnant. The agency says people who are pregnant and have COVID-19 face higher risks of preterm birth and stillbirth. The report follows another study from September where researchers found pregnant women vaccinated against COVID-19 did not see an increased risk of miscarriages. A record 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in November. The Labor Department reported an increase of 370,000 people who quit on its monthly job openings and labor turnover survey on Tuesday. The biggest turnover was in the food services sector, followed by healthcare and social assistance fields. Transportation, warehousing, and utility sectors also lost a lot of workers. All 4 U.S. regions reported rises in the number of people quitting their jobs. Hiring experts say the historic rates of quitting continued through the end of 2021, where more workers switched jobs since there were many opportunities provided by the current labor market. Lower wage sectors directly affected by the pandemic continued to have the highest levels of quitting and large declines in job openings. Hospitality, construction, and non-durable goods manufacturing industries appear to be having a difficult time. Job openings overall dropped by 529,000 to 10.6 million on the last day in November. The U.S. peaked last July with more than 11 million open jobs. A major part of the $14.5 billion modernization project at LAX is complete. Construction of the automated people mover train guideway superstructure was completed last month, connecting the north and south ends of the guideway above Century Boulevard. The 2.25-mile elevated guideway is now 87% complete. It took 4 months to finish this portion of the construction project, and officials say it was done above one of the busiest streets in the city with minimal disruptions to the traffic below. The automated people mover is part of the largest airport project of its kind in the U.S. The train system will have 6 total stations and connect passengers to LA Metro and a car rental facility. The train system is expected to be completed in 2023, and the full modernization project should be ready by the time LA hosts the Olympic Games in 2028. The Powerball jackpot is growing again after no one claimed the top prize on Monday's drawing. The new estimated jackpot is $630 million, making it the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. It's been almost 3 months since someone hit the Powerball jackpot, and that happened right here in California. The next drawing is tonight at 7:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Good luck. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The city announced a new partnership this week with the LA Galaxy to keep the Torrance multi-use sports complex open to the community. The Judicial Council of California agreed to renew the lease with the city under new terms, which began this year and will run through December 2028. The 6.2-acre complex will be renamed the LA Galaxy Sports Complex, and a ribbon-cutting ceremony is expected to take place in April. Torrance Mayor Patrick Fury says, quote, "Youth services and support in Torrance have long been a priority of the community. As stewards of the city, it's our collective responsibility as mayor and council to promote the physical fitness and wellness of our youth, and we are appreciative of the partnership with LA Galaxy and the Judicial Council of California for working with us to keep this popular field open." The state-of-the-art facility features high-quality synthetic turf and energy-efficient sports lighting for year-round soccer, football, lacrosse, rugby, and other sports and activities. What a great partnership to keep the fields open for the roughly 56,000 people who use them annually. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 Today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Bella Shaw brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.